Very cool being the only show with our in-house psychotherapist on.
Psychotherapist? You mean psychotherapist?
No, psycho, one Mississippi, two Mississippi, therapist.
Poor Jill.
The lovely Jill Payne is with us, author, a lecturer, and psychotherapist, professional counselor. Jill, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Hey, we did really well today, Sam, or I should say you did.
What? Oh, there was a glitch.
Yeah, we had a glitch, and you
Bomb
you fixed
squad.
it.
We call
exactly.
it the bomb squad technique.
Yeah, you did a great job.
Don't sweat. Take it easy.
I was wondering if you could let the folks know that I will be on a TV spot tonight. Is that okay?
Yeah, Newsmax. Tell everybody. Tell us very cool.
Okay, it's Newsfix, CW39.
Right.
It'll be at 5 o'clock. And it's basically if you're married or dating somebody that is voting for somebody else, how do you talk to them? So that's what it's going to be tonight. And after last night,
that's awesome. I think it's great that you have that conversation where, especially now, if you're quote house divided, right? And you're a Trump fan, and your spouse is, gosh forbid, a Clinton fan. How do you talk about it? It's like you love UT and your spouse loves A&M, you know?
Right.
All right.
And then one other thing.
Yes.
I was honored because the VP candidates were at my alumnus school, Longwood College. I graduated there with a BS in recreational therapy.
Okay, so don't get mad. I'd never heard of Longwood.
It was, you know what? It was a female normal school for teachers. When the first year I went there, it became co-ed. So it's gotten bigger. It was a small school, about 2,000 people. Right.
Tiny. All right,
tiny.
Let's talk about. All right, so what do you bring into our show as a psychotherapist?
Well, I thought we could talk about psychological momentum since that's what's going on here. And you've heard of people having momentum in sports. You know, it's really important to win the first game so that you have that mentality, and then you are quote on a roll. The same thing in other things in life, and so psychologists are proving this with Newton's physics. Velocity times mass momentum. So velocity would be the important event, which is the debate. Mass would be how important is that event. And so then that would equal the momentum. So I like people to think of a snowball, and a snowball, as it's rolling down the hill, it accumulates snow and it becomes bigger.
Yeah.
Right, okay? And as it becomes bigger, it goes faster. So that also is a good analogy for what is called the bandwagon effect. So the more momentum these candidates get, the more people get on the bandwagon. And so that's what's happening with the Never Trumpers. For instance, Cruz got on the bandwagon a couple of days ago. And so more people will do that as the momentum picks up.
Yeah, so, it's like people who, like, there was a team, let's say the Astros, and they didn't make the playoffs. But let's say all of a sudden people did not go to the games, and all of a sudden they started to have a winning streak, and they're going to be in the playoffs. Yes, and there's people who are like, dude, Astros, and you're like, where were you? You know, when no one was showing up at the games. You know.
Exactly.
Got it.
And that would be the bandwagon. And so there's also a negative effect.
Uh-oh.
Momentum. Well, you've heard of people on a losing streak.
Yeah.
So it goes both ways. Now, there's a man who's long dead. He was a social psychologist, Laban. And what he does is he studied the crowds and how they're affected. So if people would talk to them a certain way, they would gravitate toward them. So I thought I might talk about that a little bit since the next debate is coming up. And what did you think about the debate last night?
Well, I was lucky enough that I had a date, and I taped it. And then the good thing was, because I can only watch it in very small, literally 5-minute increments, because Tim Kaine, the Democrat, pervy-looking, weird-looking, clown-looking, like his picture's up on a wanted poster at the post office, but it was his behavior. You know, we can't help what we look like. I look like, I'm a schmuck, but
you don't.
It was his behavior was creepy, weird. I get that he was anxious. I get that he was nervous. Right. So I'm watching a pro like Mike Pence, who's a real man. Right. Okay, a real man who stands when he urinates, unlike Tim Kaine looks like he sits down for a little while. Right. And so I enjoyed when Mike Pence was talking, but I had to stop when Tim Kaine was talking. I had to go watch something else and come back to it. And that's weird. It is what it is.
It wasn't so much that he was interrupting, it was how he was interrupting and his facial expressions. You could almost see him fume with flames. And so it would be really good for Donald Trump to watch Pence, because Pence did a great job. Now, what he could have done a little bit more is used repetition to repeat his point over and over again, just like Kane did in the same way Pence would have done it. And that's one thing that gets people more into what you're talking about. And then he did tell some stories. So Trump is going to need to tell some emotional stories. He needs to connect with the African Americans and the Hispanics. It's very important that in his debate he tells stories about his visit to Mexico, his Detroit walk, and really gets in sync with the African Americans and Hispanics. Right.
Jill Payne, our in-house psychotherapist. Part of these. What do you?
I wish I could see you. Yeah, it's different. Psychologically, it is different when you get used to seeing somebody and you're talking versus on the phone. It affects you psychologically. The way you have the rapport.
See how the psychotherapist is psychotherapizing. Yeah. See, Jill's normally on Skype,
right.
And there was some sort of little glitch, and it happens. You see it all the time on the news, or some sort of satellite glitch, and so we jumped to the phone and. Whatever, and we're using B-roll and the still picture of you that we took.
Right.
And
I also wanted to just mention about the propaganda. So propaganda is used in politics.
Right.
And so what you have here also, everybody was saying Kane was lying and all this. Well, basically what he was doing is he's telling half-truths, misinformation, causing fear, and telling some lies. And so that's what politicians do, whereas the Trump campaign has been more heart-to-heart. They've done some fumbles, what you do in football, although they've been authentic, and it's not scripted, whereas when you watched Kane, immediately when you watched him at the very beginning, it was very scripted. And if people are not being authentic, other people can feel
they
that.
were stupid lines written by stupid people, and it was just really, and even Mike Pence even called him out for it. So anyway, good to have you on. Our in-house psycho-mac-therapist met through our good friends at Houston Baptist University.
And thanks for resolving the issue. You were dynamite. You are dynamite.
Oh,
so there
it's
go.
okay. No, it's okay. You know what? It's radio, TV. Why panic?
Right.
We always okay, do this. Go to your settings. It happens. We love having you on. Thank you for your insight. We're the only show with a psychotherapist.
Thank you.
We put the candidates on the couch.
So let's keep on a roll. There you go.
Talk to you next Wednesday.
Okay, you take care.
You got
Bye,
Jill
Sam.
Payne. Bye. Jill Payne joining us on the show.